And the double bind is where if you come in strong and you're masculine, you're following that model, then sometimes you get labeled with the B word, like you're not friendly and people, feel like you're in there to get them, et cetera. But if you're the opposite, you're too soft, you're kind of coming in with, the velvet glove, as they say, for example, then sometimes you just don't get heard. So how to find that way through the middle is really without being stuck in the middle. That's that kind of mushy middle that nobody wants to be in, right? Where you're not really fully yourself.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the KTS Success Factor podcast for women, where we talk about challenges senior female leaders face in being happy and successful at work. I'm your host, Dr. Sarah E. Brown. My guest today is Patty Beach. She's the CEO of LeadershipSmarts, a firm that combines leadership best practices and coaching to help managers and executives build a better world in a better way. Her approach to leadership evolved over 20 years of coaching leaders in companies, nonprofits, universities, and government agencies. Before earning a master's degree in organizational development from Pepperdine University and becoming an ICF Master Certified Coach, Patty was a geologist and manager leading initiatives in new technology and emerging markets in the energy industry. Patty and her husband, Roger Tonis, are also managing partners of Founder Advisors, a consulting firm that helps startups quickly scale and grow. And Patty has just launched her new book, The Art of Alignment, which has already become a bestseller. And she was featured by Entrepreneurial Magazine with this book as being one of the best reads for 2020. Patty, thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm really excited to talk, have a chat.
Great. So tell me, what is the biggest challenge you help female leaders face in business today? And what might be some symptoms of that challenge?
Well, I think for female leaders, it's not exactly a unique challenge. Female leaders face the same challenge most leaders face, which is getting groups to listen to them, follow them, and work together to get on the same page to make things work. That's what I call alignment, and that's what I wrote my book about. I feel like for female leaders, it's a little bit tricky, though, to do that in a way where they can fully express themselves. So many businesses still follow kind of the masculine model. It's more patriarchal. And so you've got to break into the program without losing yourself. You want to bring your full self to work. So for women, reaching alignment has its own unique challenges.
And what would you say is the biggest mistake your clients make before working with you?
I think that, oftentimes they go into the business and they are trying to lead in a manner that's too soft or, maybe too soft or too hard. A lot of that has to do with the fact that women are facing what's called the double bind. And the double bind is where if you come in strong and you're masculine, you're following that model, then sometimes you get labeled with the B word, like you're not friendly and people, feel like you're in there to get them, et cetera. But if you're the opposite, you're too soft, you're kind of coming in with, the velvet glove, as they say, for example, then sometimes you just don't get heard. So how to find that way through the middle is really without being stuck in the middle. That's that kind of mushy middle that nobody wants to be in, right? Where you're not really fully yourself.
And what would be your number one free and actionable tip that could help our audience today address this challenge now?
Well, one of the things that I really truly believe is that the world is a better place when we have a balance of masculine and feminine energy. And so many businesses tend to be more masculine, and then some nonprofits or some educational institutions may be too feminine, so to speak. And I really believe it's the combination of masculine and feminine energy in men and women that will create the best outcome. So in my book, I write about the different principles of how to reach alignment. And one of the key principles is a principle I call the principle of versatility. And so the word versatility comes from a Latin word, which is called versa. It means to turn from one to the other. And so what I really want to help women leaders do, and men also, is to turn from the masculine to the feminine approach, depending on what they're trying to do. So, for example, if you're coming in and you're trying to have people reach alignment around a compliance issue or something where there's a very narrow bandwidth where you can move around, you need to bring your masculine energy and let people know this is something we have to do. If we don't do this, we put our company at risk. Now, on the other hand, there are other cases where you want to bring your feminine energy, where you're really listening, you're facilitating, you're helping bring other people into the room in order to get their voices heard and to co-create together. So by practicing this principle of versatility, which is turning from the masculine to the feminine, so being as masculine as you need to be and as feminine as you need to be, not having this mushy middle place, right? Is that actionable tip that I want to share with people? Because sometimes people don't think of it that way. They think they have to be just the right, like 1 cup of this and 1 cup of that. The other thing I wanted to share is that in my book, there are these 4 steps and 5 C's, and it's a process for coming to alignment. And if you follow those 4 steps and the 5 C's, then you automatically work in a versatile way. 2 of the steps are more masculine, 2 are more feminine. And so groups just kind of fall into agreement easier when you use this 4 steps and 5 C's of alignment.
Terrific. So what's a valuable free resource you can share with the women who are listening today to help them understand this challenge better?
They can all head to my website, leadershipsmarts.com. There they can download the first chapter of my book. That's free. There are also other free resources. For example, there's a cheat sheet on how to practice the 4 steps and the 5 C's of alignment. So hopefully it's enough that they kind of get a sense of it and decide whether that's something they might want to spend a little more time and energy on. And if so, they can go to Amazon, buy the book. It's not free, but it's, the ebook's $6. So those are some resources. And then also they can sign up for a free kind of get acquainted chat to talk about versatility. I have an online assessment that they can take that can help them understand the balance of masculine and feminine energy as they move toward their own leadership, their perspective of themselves.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but mainly just go and download that first chapter. Again, it's on leadershipsmarts.com. And if they go to resources, that's where they'll find the links for those free resources.
Great. So what is one question that I should have asked you that will help our audience take action to address this challenge? And then would you answer the question?
Yeah, so I think the question is helping leaders figure out, my book is about inclusive leadership. How do you go about bringing people into that equation to co-create with you so that it's not just about you, it's about the people that you're bringing along. And we know in leadership, this is really the fundamental thing of leadership, that if you can't get other people to do stuff, then, it's not really leadership, right? And a lot of times doing those things is moving out of status quo, having a big dream or a belief in things. So I truly believe that inclusive leadership is the most powerful way to go about doing that. But what happens for a lot of women practicing inclusive leadership is learning how to include people without losing myself. So that's the question. How can I include people without losing myself in that? And then what I want to advise people around that is when you're trying to get people to move in a particular direction and you're going to include people, before you ever ask them, get clear in your own mind. What is it that you really believe for yourself? It's not that you're not going to move off that dime, but if you don't know what it is, or you just feel it and you're afraid, you're kind of holding it inside, then you're not benefiting everyone, your leadership of your vision of what you want to see happen. So that's the main thing, is just to write it down, come in with what you have in mind. It's not that it's anchored, it'll move, but if you don't have that, you will lose sight of yourself. And usually there is a solution. If you find a place where you've got misalignment between the people that come into your inclusion, there's usually a solution that will work for you and work for them. So don't ever lose sight of that.
It's not losing either or. It is finding a way that you can be yourself and your stuff while recognizing others as well. Great advice.
Exactly.
Great advice. Patty, thank you so much for being with me today.
I really appreciate it. It was super fun, and I wish you luck and your listeners.
Thanks.
And what all they're up to.
Thanks for listening to the KTS Success Factor podcast for women. If you like what you are hearing, please go to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave a review. And if you would like more information on how we can help women in your organization to thrive, then go to www.sarahebrown.com. You can sign up for our newsletter, read show notes and learn more about our podcast guests, read my blog, browse through the books, or contact us for a chat. Goodbye for now.